Good morning and good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Beginner Conversion and Retention webinar, Increasing Guest Engagement Through On-Mountain Wi-Fi and Social Media. My name is Georgia Brown. I'm the director here at ExtenData, and I will be your moderator for the length of the webinar. So let me introduce our other speakers. Greg Timmons is our ski and resort tech expert for the Colorado region. Steve Galletley is our wireless channel sales manager from Zebra Technologies, and Tim Martin is our Utah-based ski and resort tech expert. Zebra Technologies and ExtenData have sponsored this event today. Thank you to Zebra Technologies for your support. Last week, we sent out a survey to make sure that we were developing the content around what you guys were looking for. So if you got the survey and filled it out, thank you. You definitely played an impact in shaping the content for today's webinar. The information was organized into these four loose categories here. Wi-Fi access being causing problems with seating. So if you have, Wi-Fi only available in one particular area. Complaints about Wi-Fi coverage when you're outside of lodges. No cell service, providing demands on Wi-Fi that are challenging, needing new ideas and tactics for social media and how to engage guests, as well as how to reach out to beginner skiers and riders. So this is the agenda with that information in mind. I'll start off by talking about the strategy for beginner and conversion engagement. Then we'll switch over to a cross-mountain network, family and friends referral marketing, Wi-Fi solutions for hotel rooms, beginner conversion through engagement, and guest networks, segmented networks, and security compliance. So if your goal is to increase and retain the number of new skiers and riders and improve current guest engagement, you're on the right webinar. How do you go about developing a strategy for that? I, as a marketer, go to my industry resources, my industry publications. The NSAA the NSA Beginner Conversion Study, which was released this year, has some really great statistics around this exact topic. 54% of those surveyed, those are beginners, tried out skiing and riding for the first time because they wanted to be able to join family and friends. That same group surveyed also had another interesting statistic. 33% of them indicated that their family or friends convinced them to give it a try. So this is pretty compelling, and it tells you one thing. You should be engaging your current guests to generate organic referrals. So those current guests, those are going to be the family and friends who convince those beginners to give it a try. Now, as a marketer, I have some really great statistics that tell me that referral marketing stuff really does work. So 92% of consumers trust referrals from people they know, and 77% are more likely to buy a new product when learning about it from friends or family. So for the marketers on the line, I'm sure this doesn't come as a surprise to you, but what do you do with that engagement, those statistics, that strategy, once you've reached your current guests? How does that translate to beginners? Well, you have to use specific tactics to engage and target them. And we'll go over all those tactics in the next few slides and topics. But before we move into that, I want to stress something that's very important. We believe that it is an absolute imperative that you provide robust, reliable, and easily accessible Wi-Fi coverage to your guests. Without that, the strategies that we're talking about, or the strategy we're talking about and the tactics we're talking about, they're not going to work. These are intimately related, is what I'm trying to get at here. Wi-Fi is the currency of hospitality. If we don't have it available to us, we feel inconvenienced and frustrated. So providing that is imperative. Take this, for example. If your guest is on top of your mountain, and he's just struck by the beauty of the landscape around him, and he wants to take a selfie right there and post it directly to Instagram to share with his friends, hey, look at where I am right now, isn't this beautiful? Well, if he doesn't have Wi-Fi coverage to be able to do that, he's going to forget, because by the time he gets to his room where there may be Wi-Fi or he gets into cell coverage, he's moved on with his day. So you want to be able to provide that instant access on top of the mountain so that you can encourage him to promote your ski area. And then finally on this topic, your competitors are increasing their Wi-Fi for their guests every day. So what are you doing to make sure that your customers have great Wi-Fi access? Greg, why don't you take us into the first Wi-Fi topic about across-mountain networking?
I will, Georgia. Thank you very much for that. And welcome everybody that is on the call. Like we have folks all across North America, so appreciate you folks taking the time to be on the call. As Georgia mentioned earlier in the start of the presentation, we have done business with about 75 ski resorts across North America. And out of those, a good 30 to 40, we've done Wi-Fi infrastructures for those resorts. Some pretty simple, basic, and some pretty sophisticated Wi-Fi solutions we've done for those resorts. And we do have on our staff very skilled, knowledgeable, and certified Wi-Fi engineers to help our resort customers. And in fact, one of our Wi-Fi engineers was previously an IT manager at a resort in Utah, so he knows firsthand kind of the unique and diverse Wi-Fi requirements that a resort does have. And what we do at ExtenData, part of our process to work with our resorts is we go through a fairly comprehensive process to really understand what your Wi-Fi needs are. It could be an initial, just a phone call. We may go on site visit. We really want to understand what your application or applications needs are, the bandwidth that you would need, the area of coverage or coverages, any existing Wi-Fi that you have that may be problematic, or older technology that won't give you the bandwidth that you need. We also want to know about your hardware networks if our Wi-Fi solution would be tying into that part of your current network. In a few slides, I'll go over some different examples of Wi-Fi solutions we've done for different resorts. But for now, I want to turn this over to Steve Galletley, who will talk to you about some of the latest and greatest Zebra Wi-Fi technologies. Go ahead, Steve.
All right, thank you, Greg, and thanks for joining us today. So I'm the vendor component of this, the hardware vendor, and we make a broad line of wireless gear that facilitate the types of services we're talking about today at resorts and in all different areas of the hospitality industry. So I'm guessing that most of you on the call have never heard of Zebra Technologies, and I'm also guessing that a few of you that may have heard of Zebra Technologies had no idea that they were in the wireless networking business. I'm also guessing that all of you have heard of Motorola. So I'll just tell you that perhaps the reason you never heard of us inside of Zebra Technologies is that we were part of Motorola Solutions for the last 8 or 10 years, and there was a $3 billion transaction that moved a large part of Motorola into Zebra Technologies. So I won't go into all of that. We're going to focus on the products that matter for the resorts. And so it's a broad line of wireless LAN solutions that we offer at Zebra Technologies these days. As I mentioned, we've been at this for well over 15 years. We're one of the leaders out there, along with names you're all familiar with, like Cisco, Ruckus, HP, Aruba, and so on. We are using, all of our products use the latest wireless standard 802.11ac, which probably doesn't mean a lot to the marketing folks out there, but the IT guys understand that. We're introducing now our new Wave 2 versions of those 802.11ac products. And what that means is that we've got the latest, most powerful, reliable, high-performance access points available to our customers and to our partners like ExtenData. And so the benefit is that out on the slopes and in the guest rooms, which is what I'm going to talk about more today, you're confident that through ExtenData and Zebra you're going to get, enterprise class, we call it, wireless service. And why that's important is that your guests and visitors to the resort these days are expecting wireless experience similar to what they get at home and or work, right? We all know that. We're travelers ourselves, business travelers. We move around, we visit various hotels. And you are always expecting that same level of service that you get at home or at work. So that's the challenge. We'll get into that a little bit further when I speak specifically about our guest room solutions. But for now, I'll turn this back over to Greg.
Great, thanks, Steve. Yeah, one more slide ahead, Tim. I'm going to go through just a few, just a very few examples for a few resorts that we've done over the years. There are many, many more in addition to what's here, but start out with ALYESKA Resort, a beautiful resort up outside Anchorage, Alaska. They first came to us in 2007. They were implementing lift access. They needed a mobile computing solution and Wi-Fi infrastructures, and they also needed some creative point-to-point links to get up on. So we did a point-to-point link from the base area up to mid-mountain to a lodge, to a day lodge to create Wi-Fi for a day lodge. We also did several across the entire base. There are two different main base areas there. We lit up the base areas with Wi-Fi to support their lift access for mobile computing devices that we also provided to ALYESKA. And then in 2013, they came back to us. They had some additional needs for some areas, some remote locations that needed Wi-Fi. It was just cost prohibitive to do any kind of fiber. So we did a point-to-point link from the top of the ALYESKA hotel down to the ground services building. And then we also did another link from the base area over to a maintenance building with just 2 access points to create that Wi-Fi link. And here in Colorado, Arapahoe Basin, known locally as the Basin or A Basin, they're one of our customers as well. And they were also doing lift access a few years ago and needed a complete coverage across their base area. So we ended up doing a point to multi-point Wi-Fi solution for them. There's 3 base area lifts. And then we also put access points in their A-frame to provide coverage for their guests in their bars and locker room and kind of their seating area for their guests. And then Bretton Woods, also known as Mount Washington in New Hampshire, initially in 2007, they were doing Wi-Fi for lift access. So we provided a solution across their entire base area, their retail shops, rental shops. We actually went back in 2015 to upgrade that to Zebra's latest and greatest 802.11 AC technology. And one of the ones not only I wanted to mention as well, Aspen Skiing here in Colorado had a situation 4 or 5 years ago where they had an existing copper wire link buried underneath a mountain access road from their maintenance building up to their snowmaking pump house, which is very problematic. So we ended up creating a Wi-Fi point-to-point solution. They didn't have a line of sight, so we had to end up using 3 access points, 1 at the maintenance building, 1 at the pump house, and 1 in between. And that in-between access point we set up with a solar panel as well. That access point did have line of sight to both locations. So we set that up very cost effectively for them, and it's been running now for 5 years, and now via that Wi-Fi link, they have a remote control up to that pump house from their maintenance building. So we've done a whole variety of different Wi-Fi solutions for resorts, and in today's world with all your guests coming with multiples of devices, and especially with phones, having accessible and robust Wi-Fi across the resort is becoming a real demand for many, many resorts that we can certainly help you folks with. So with that, I'll turn this back over to Georgia.
So before I move into the next tactical topic, I wanted to just address again that the reason that we're going back and forth between Wi-Fi technology and social media and marketing tactics is because we believe that they're very closely tied. So the first topic for friends and family referral marketing is selfie stations. So selfie stations are a perfect way to take care or to take advantage of a ubiquitous part of our culture, selfies. So everybody likes to take selfies. You see them all the time. In fact, there's lots of cultural jokes about selfies, like you have selfie face, that kind of stuff going on, right? So you guys can take advantage of that by creating designated areas on your resort for people to do just that. You know the best spots, you know the most engaging photo locations, so designate them. So the first thing that you want to do is create clear signage. This photo is from outside of a polling place. You know, taking photos inside of a polling location is illegal, so they wanted to encourage people to take their selfies outside. So they put this sticker up on the brick wall. And they want to use that selfie stuff to encourage people to vote. So by doing this, people were still taking the selfies, you know, look at me, I'm voting. They were still getting out there on social media, but they were abiding by the law as well. This next photo is of a clothing retail company. They set up a selfie station inside, I'm assuming probably right next to their dressing room. They have a clear call to action on the top there that says, ready, selfie, go. Underneath the selfie area, they have instructions to follow a particular handle on Instagram so that they can enter to win some contest. As well, what's really important is that they put that hashtag, fresh selfie contest, underneath there, and they have to use that hashtag. So by using that hashtag, encouraging people to tag their profile, they're creating organic referral marketing through that person who did the original post network. So photo contest. We're all familiar with the official photo contest. It has rules, it has deadlines, it requires a lot of promotion and a lot of management to generate. When they work well, they work really well. But like I said, there's a lot of work involved in there. So what's taking over is what I will call a passive photo contest. So what's a passive photo contest? They happen every day on social media. What happens when you see a friend who posts a picture that you like or a video that has some content that you appreciate? You like it or share it or retweet it. That is the passive contest that's happening on a day-to-day basis. This is a great example from a profile that I follow on Instagram called Hiking Official. In that red highlight box down there, you can see it says, the official page for hiking and camping, tag Hiking Official to be featured, photo credit, Chris Burkhardt. What they've done there is they've instructed their followers to tag them in any of their photos, and then they've created an unofficial passive photo contest. So Chris got his photo selected and he got excited. I can guarantee that he reposted that photo saying, look, I got featured on Hiking Official. So then his network paid attention and said, oh, Chris got featured. I'm going to follow Hiking Official and tag them too, because then maybe I can get one of my photos featured. Take advantage of our culture's obsessive need to be famous. Everybody wants to be famous. Everybody wants their 15 minutes of fame. So take advantage of it. On this next example, this is a zip line photo from Puerto Rico, I believe. And this woman has done exactly what you want your guests to do in the summer season, right? She's saying she's having the best time of her life. She's tagged the countries she's in. She's tagged what she's doing. And she's specifically tagged Zion National Park. So Puerto Rico got some views, Zion National Park got some views, and everybody who follows ziplining on Instagram saw her photo. This is exactly how you want to take advantage of the power of social media and photos. So I'm sure this image looks really familiar for some of you. It's long gone are the days when your guests came with a laptop or maybe a BlackBerry and needed a little bit of Wi-Fi connectivity to check their email. Now what we're seeing is that your guests, every single one of them have their own device, and they need connectivity, and they need it to be powerful, because dad's checking his email, mom's looking at Facebook, one of the sons is playing a video game online and the other one is doing some math tutorial stuff that he got assigned from school. Everybody needs high-speed, reliable connectivity. So Steve, why don't you tell them a little bit about how Zebra Technologies and ExtenData can provide those type of solutions in hotel rooms?
I will. Thank you, Georgia. Georgia brings up a really good point, but so that's one of the big challenges that the hospitality industry, of which your resorts are a subset, one of the huge challenges that the industry is facing today is the demand being put on wireless networks. And I know you're all struggling, particularly the IT folks, to keep ahead of the curve on the demand. So, but the other things that challenge you folks is, one, that your guests and your visitors are coming to your resorts and their expectations are very high. This is going to be a great day, a great weekend, an epic day, as my kids would say. And those are the expectations. So they expect to have a great day on the mountain. They expect to have a great dining experience, and so that transfers into the guest rooms, right? Those that are using the lodging are expecting a great experience in the guest room as well. It used to be it was just about clean towels and a nice pillow and all that. But what we've learned in dealing with the hospitality industry for the last 20 years at Motorola and now Zebra is that Wi-Fi, great Wi-Fi, or good to great Wi-Fi, is becoming the #1 amenity that guests in hotels are expecting. And they will base their decisions as to where they stay on the quality of the Wi-Fi. And I think the resort industry is a little behind on that one, because there's other things going on with the mountain and all that. But it's happening as well in the resorts, right? And I know you're all experiencing this. So there's the challenge of the extra demand being put on the wireless networks. There's the challenge of these expectations from these guests. And then you add a third challenge. A lot of the resorts out there, we know, are older resorts, and in the guest rooms, they don't have the latest Ethernet cabling infrastructure. Excuse me. Most of the properties, in fact 80% of all hotel rooms these days across the United States, still have nothing but phone wire into the rooms. So what we bring to the table here to help deal with all these challenges is the solution you see in front of you here. And we partner with ExtenData to deliver this solution. The solution I'm referring to is the T5 POWERBROADBAND solution. We've been evolving this product for over 15 years. It's the leading product that works on older properties that have nothing but phone wire into the guest room. It runs on a single pair of telephone wire, and it is powered. The device you see sitting on top of the black box is a wall plate that goes into the room on a phone jack, and that wall plate is powered by the black box that is in the phone closet, in the main phone closet in the lodge. And so what you end up with is a very easy to install, robust, and tamper-proof solution in the room. It's unobtrusive, meaning you may have been in and out of a guest room or room and not even known it was there. The guest can't remove it if they attempt to remove it, because there's no power brick required. So there's a lot of good things going on with this product. If we want to move to the next slide, you get another look at this Zebra wall plate, and it also has Ethernet ports, 2 Ethernet ports. So if a guest chooses to cable into the internet, they can do that as well. But the point in this is it's an enterprise class wireless access solution that delivers the home experience or the at-work experience that your guests have come to expect, and at a very affordable price, easy to install, and so on. So that's a little brief overview of the T5 POWERBROADBAND solution. And that, I'll turn it back over to Greg.
Great, thanks, Steve. Yeah, I'm excited to talk about ALYESKA Resort again, especially their hotel. Been a great customer of ExtenData, and once again, a beautiful resort up in Anchorage, Alaska. If you've never been there, you should really go. The IT manager came to us in early 2013. At that time, the ALYESKA hotel only were using, they had a few of the rooms that had a hardwired Ethernet cable that if you had a laptop, you could plug that in. So they were getting constant complaints and requests for Wi-Fi. Their guests were beginning to really demand it. So we had several conference calls and ended up, Steve just talked a lot about the T5 technology, which became an excellent and perfect fit for the ALYESKA hotel that had 304 rooms. And so we ended up recommending and installing a total of 6 of the T5 switches in their telephone room, and each switch supports about 24 ports. And then we did about 95 to 100 Wi-Fi wall plates throughout the hotel. So we averaged about 1 wall plate for each 3 rooms and got great, excellent coverage. We added another 8 to 10 of the wall plate access points to cover the conference areas and the main areas at the bottom of the hotel, and also provided coverage in the pool, the fitness areas, the bars, the restaurants, all that for complete Wi-Fi coverage throughout the entire hotel. And it only took us about 6 days of time to do that, while there were still a fair amount of guests in the room. So you can actually install the wall plate in the room, but then in and out of the room in about 5 to 6 minutes. And that's setting it up, taking the phones off and putting the plates on and plugging the phones back in and testing them. So it's a pretty quick process. As Steve mentioned, ALYESKA had the old copper Cat3 telephone wires in all the walls. We left all that and was able to reuse that. So they're a very, very happy customer. And this slide is an excerpt from back in 2014. ExtenData and Zebra did a very elaborate case study of what we did at ALYESKA Resort, and that is still available on the Zebra website. If you go to zebra.com and under the Wireless LAN for Hospitality tab, you will find this case study, where you're welcome to ask for that from us as well. We could get you a copy of that. Just a footnote here too, this solution is great for, as Steve mentioned, for these larger hotels and even the smaller resorts. We did a resort up here in Estes Park. It was a small resort, not a ski resort, but it was a small resort that had, I think, 15 to 20 cabins, similar situation, no Wi-Fi. They only had copper telephone wires in their closets in their rooms, and we were able to use the T5 for that as well. Excellent fit for that. So with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Georgia.
So also, you guys can get that same case study on extendata.com too. Just go to our document section and you'll see the case study areas, and it will say ALYESKA case study. So our next topics for family and friends referral marketing, I'm going to talk about hashtags. Everybody knows about hashtags, right? You got to use them. I can't stress enough how much you've got to use hashtags. I did a quick search on Instagram for the hashtag snowboarding. There's over 4 million, as of this Monday, 4 million posts with the hashtag snowboarding. So you need to go out there and you have to do your due diligence to figure out what your hashtags are. They're not going to be as simple as snowboarding. You know the key terms that work for your industry. You know these things. So go in and search and keep searching and look for the niches of your customers when they have, let's say they're doing a particular trick in the snow park. Maybe there's a hashtag for that too. Make a list and put it next to your desk. Every time you put out a post, use those hashtags. Use them religiously. Now, if you have a specific campaign or maybe a unique quirk about your resort, create a hashtag for that as well and use it. Then finally, promote them. Like those selfie station ideas, or the selfie station for the clothing company specifically, they had the hashtag that they wanted their customers to use right there, visible. use this to enter the contest. So promote, promote, promote. Use those hashtags. They are what people use to search the internet, to search Instagram, to search Facebook, to search Twitter. You have to use the hashtag. And then the next topic is around engaging with your audience on social media. Retweets and replies are very important to creating that engagement. You can't just sit back in your office or on your phone and push out social media content. You can't just talk, 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 talk. You have to create an engaging conversation. This is a great example from Vail. This guy wanted to know when the gondola would be open up for mountain biking. They replied back June 24th, and he said, great, see you there. That moment, that small little interaction, less than 100 words, created a lasting impression on that guest. He doesn't see Vail Resorts as a large corporate entity that he has no relationship with. He just started having a relationship with the community of Vail. It takes a community to run your resort, so let people know about your community. Let them feel that you're a community. People relate with people. People don't relate with companies. So having the time, or taking the time, to have these conversations via social media are very important. So as a marketer, when I have a new strategy or new tactic, new initiative that I want to implement, I know that I have to have the technology to support what I'm doing. And I like to make sure that I have a little bit of information to go to my IT department with to talk to them. I want to make sure that I understand their concerns. I want to make sure that I see in advance where their pain points may be. Because the sooner I have my hands wrapped around that information, the sooner that that department, that team, can help support my initiatives and get them off the ground. With that in mind, Tim, why don't you take us into the guest networks, segmented networks, and security?
Sure. Thanks, everybody, and appreciate everybody's time today and joining us. A great sort of yin and yang topic here around the two back and forth conversations we're having, infrastructure and engagement. So as you go to your IT team with these ideas and concepts and with the need for additional coverage and robust wireless to allow this engagement to occur, as well as retention, you're going to get asked, well, are we safe? What tools do we have to make sure that that I can install and maintain wireless networks and segment my corporate systems, keep my data safe, keep me safe from hackers, keep me safe from, people inside or outside the facility. And towards that end, Zebra has an organization called AIRDEFENSE. AIRDEFENSE is an application that allows you to manage and maintain and provide a safe environment for your wireless networks. And this is, I think, Steve will chime in here as well. But when you're going with this initiative, you're going to have the safety and security piece addressed at the same time. So this product and application allows you to control your wireless network. Remote offices, local offices, remote lift locations. This product is inclusive of both hardware and software and lets you manage and maintain, again, both a public and private network or multiple public and private networks, and allows you to alarm and gives you 24 hours of monitoring across the entire network. Now, interestingly, there's a note in here under multi-vendor management, so we don't necessarily mandate that you have only Zebra Wireless to take advantage of this AIRDEFENSE application. So that's something else that we, send a note to Georgia or anyone on this webinar from ExtenData or Zebra, and we can follow up with you there. Steve, was there anything else that I should add on this? It's just a brief brush on AIRDEFENSE services.
Yeah, what I'd like to add is, assuming we're on the second of the two slides there, there's something really interesting going. Well, first let me back up a little bit. So just to be clear, there's a couple of things that the IT folks will want to know, and that one is that AIRDEFENSE utilizes the Zebra access points that are already installed or perhaps about to be installed. The only additional equipment is a centralized hardened appliance, we call it. So there's a separate air defense sensor that needs to be purchased, and then there's some licensing that goes along with that. But the actual solution is engaged through the wireless access points that we've been talking about earlier. But what's most interesting about how we're beginning to see air defense deployed these days, it's primarily used to secure your network. And as we all know, this is a critical element for the network administrators and everybody involved with the property, really, because you just can't afford to have people, rogue APs or hackers, stealing credit card numbers and things like that. But the other piece that solution piece that it provides here is this. If you look at the three boxes at the bottom of the slide, the one in the middle says location-based services. And I think we're all starting to hear more and more about something called locationing and the ability to track a customer or a guest as they walk into a store or a dining area, or as they are tagged as they hit the ski lift. And so air defense additionally provides this type of locationing solution in addition to the security features. And it's something you may want to engage with in a conversation with Greg or Tim or myself, because it's very intriguing, especially as it applies to a resort, I think, because locationing, a good locationing solution using the Zebra APs and air defense can actually track a guest or a skier's location, not just on the slopes but in a facility, and so you get a better feel as a marketing person. You get a better feel for where your guests are moving, and what part of the slope they might be, or what part of which facility, where are they spending most of their time, what are they doing there. All this data is available to marketing people, and we actually deployed over 34,000 Zebra APs at every Caesars entertainment facility around the country, every casino, and they are collecting millions of lines of data about the gamblers and the visitors and the guests in those casinos. That is proving invaluable to them, and so that they can better staff and support these visitors, gamblers, and guests, and so on. So it's a very interesting topic. We're not going to get into it any further than that today, but I just wanted to point it out to folks, especially to the marketing folks, because we're finding the marketing people are the ones that are really driving the need for this. They want it, they need it, they feel to better engage with their visitors. So that was it for me, Tim.
Thanks, Steve. Excellent. Georgia, I'm going to send it back to you for engagement, unless you had something else to add.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to just point out, as a marketer, I really geek out on the data. And to know that this kind of data is available so that you can start tracking your guests wherever they are, just start thinking about the possibilities. I mean, really, you can see exactly where they're actually taking selfies from. So maybe you put a selfie station at the top of the hill, but you're finding that mid-mountain, there's a spot, there's a little landing that everybody keeps stopping at. Maybe that's the view that really intrigues them. So you move the selfie station over there, or maybe you add a little sign that says, tag our resort. So for me, knowing that I can actually look at the data of where they are on the mountain just adds to the level of engagement and the intelligence that I have at my fingertips to strategize around my tactics for engagement. Okay, next slide. So we've talked about guest engagement. Now how do we bring it full circle to the beginners? So we've made the assumption, and a very educated assumption, that using these friends and family are going to bring the beginners in. So what are your tactics for the beginners? Good news. Use what you've already got. Everything that I just discussed is going to work for your beginners because they want to take selfies, they want to be famous, they want to be able to post a photo of them and look at me, I'm at Winter Park, I'm taking my first snowboarding lesson ever, I hurt and I'm sore, but this is awesome. I love Winter Park. So let them do those kinds of things. Secondly, you've got to get your instructors engaged. The NSAA Beginner Conversion Study also talks about how instructors are pivotal to the experience and the value that a beginner gets. So enable your instructors to engage with these same tactics as well. Perhaps getting across the trail over to the selfie station is part of the morning class. Enable your instructors, encourage your instructors to take selfies with the beginners. Because to the beginners, your instructors, those are the famous people. Those are the ones that they look up to for the day while they're learning how to ride. So enable your instructors to become heroes, to become famous, and take selfies and tag. You can even take it to the next level where you put signs out in front of your ski school areas or in front of your rental locations where you say, I'm a beginner, or rather, are you a beginner? Let us know. Allow them to identify themselves by tagging your resort in their posts about their first day, their first lesson, that kind of stuff. Then you can capture that information and you can have a conversation with them. You can engage with them after they've left the resort, saying, hey, Stephanie, how did you like your first day? It sounds like it went great. Here's 50% off your next rental. We really hope to see you next weekend. That kind of stuff is really going to give them the warm and fuzzies, right? Everybody loves the warm and fuzzies. When they feel like they connect, they belong to part of a group, they're much more likely to come back, and they're also much more likely to look at their experience with a positive light, despite maybe the fact that they didn't make the progress that they wanted to make. Next slide, please. So a word on Instagram. I really believe in the power of Instagram. You've got a lot of rival platforms out there, but Instagram is one of those ones you should take a hard look at. So it's an image-based social media platform, right? Facebook's got links and text and rants from your Aunt Judy and all sorts of stuff. But what you find on Facebook is that photos actually get the most interaction, or links with photos included with them get the most interaction. Well, that's all about Instagram, right? It's only images. So take advantage of that, because when we see something that we want to do, we see something that we like, we're much more likely to act on it. So if you see a beautiful destination, a beautiful ski resort on Pinterest, you're going to repin or you're going to keep that photo as a reminder, I want to go here someday. Instagram also allows video now, and I believe that it rivals Snapchat and Vimeo. The reason being, Snapchat is only a very small group of your general audience. So it's, you know, the 22 and under group. While it may be very popular, it also doesn't do marketers any favors, because the photos and videos on Snapchat, they expire, they go away, or at least that's what we're told. So it doesn't have any everlasting sticking power for you. It's not an evergreen kind of thing where it builds to your SEO for your site, or it builds credibility for your post within a user's newsfeed. Vimeo just doesn't have the audience and the pull that Instagram does. Instagram has over 500 million active viewers. Vimeo can't really compare. And then finally, Instagram has launched some new business tactics or some new business features recently that allow you to put in links directly to landing pages, and it allows you to specifically target within that audience. So in short, take a look at Instagram. I believe that it's a really great tool for your guest and beginner conversion engagement program. Next slide, please. Okay, so in the end, ExtenData provides our Wi-Fi networking experience. We can come out and do a survey, we can create a solution for you, and we can do the installation. Beyond that, we also have a lot of other stuff that we do for ski areas. We do RFID tagging, so let's say you want to start tracking some of your rental equipment with RFID tags, let us know. We also do a lot of stuff with lift access and pass printing and that kind of stuff. But on top of all of that, what we're going to offer for our webinar attendees today is access to our social media and engagement knowledge. So if you decide to engage us, you get the opportunity to get some social media consulting as well. Next slide, please. So in summary, we've bounced around a lot. I'm sure it can get a little bit confusing. This was a very complicated topic even for us to develop. So this is where we went today. You got to develop a strategy with targets or with tactics. You got to have Wi-Fi infrastructure to support these tactics. Use selfies, photos, hashtags, and social media for two-way engagement. Now, a note on that. I know a lot of this isn't really new. Some of you out there might be saying, yeah, I get it. I know. I got it. But are you really taking the time to lay out this strategy and connect the dots? Because if you don't take the time to implement these different things that I'm talking about in a very methodical way, you're not going to get the referral marketing results that you hope for. And then finally, we are your resource for robust and reliable Wi-Fi, and we have a limited social media consulting offer. So thank you again for your time, and have a great day.